Hello and welcome back to the Quad Life. Well, I'm sorry that this video is a little bit delayed, but unfortunately that's the way the weeks go sometimes, that I can't get up and be able to get a video, and also caregiver changes. You never know how it's going to go. But since the last video, I've had some changes, I guess, but not in a bad way, but good improvements. So for most people, breathing is something that you never really think of, which is good. If you do think of your breathing, then sometimes you can hyperventilate and have all kinds of problems, and it's really just best that breathing is automatic and you do it without being conscious of it, and it just happens. Well, of course, for me, that doesn't work. Say I'm too lazy to lift a finger or even to just breathe on my own. I'm just a lazy guy. And for over 25 years, I used a regular ventilator. And as part of using a vent, then every month, my supply company would check them to make sure they were working correctly. So I had two ventilators, one beside my bed and one in the back of my wheelchair. So respiratory therapists, or RTs, will come every month and do a cycle of testing, make sure everything's functioning properly and all that. And also once a year, each vent would go in for some major testing, and I'm not sure what that all entailed, but it was an annual thing. They would take the vent, give me a loaner for a month, or sometimes two if mine needed something major done, and that was that. Now, when I switched to the diaphragm pacemaker at the end of 2010, things changed a little bit. I like the pacemaker system and it's worked quite well, but unfortunately there are not a lot of people that use it, which it's unfortunate that we don't get a lot of opportunity for people to experience it, but it's also fortunate that we don't have a lot of people that need to use it, so you can look at it either way. However, for me, living here in Iowa, there's only a handful of us in the state that use this system, so if we want anything checked or settings changed or that kind of thing, it's not easy to do. Either we got to go somewhere out of state, or someone from the company has to come to us. So probably about a month ago, I emailed the maker of a diaphragm pacemaker. It was called Synapse. That I had a concern about my wires in my chest, that they looked a little bit weird, but I sent pictures and compared from old to new pictures to see if there were any changes to them, and everything looked okay, thankfully. But we noticed that it had been quite a while since my pacemakers, or the boxes themselves, had been looked at. And thinking back to my records, I got my first boxes in 2010 when I got the system, and then it was probably around 2012 or so that I got some settings changed, and in order to do that, I had to receive a box in the mail and then send mine back. to them, which of course I got different ones then. But that's really been the last time that my pacemaker units were looked at. So basically 10 years. So yeah, it took a bit of adjusting for me to get used to getting my breathing devices checked every month to how much at all. And that's nothing wrong with the company. It's just the way it is now that we don't have ways to easily check things. So anyway, since we figured out it had been quite a while since I got new boxes, then we got it arranged and paperwork and everything that was necessary got done for them to come here. And just yesterday, according to this recording, I met with a representative from Synapse. He came to my house here, and I got new pacemakers. So the wires and everything that's in me and the connection port on my chest, all that's the same, which I would hope so. And I can be doing surgery just laying here in my bed at home. But the control units or the pacemakers themselves, I got changed. So since I last got new to me, pacemakers, the design of them has changed, and as well as a few other things of function. So the first thing I noticed was that these new boxes are smaller than the last ones, so they're a little bit easier to store somewhere, say in a pocket or something of that sort. And the other things that the representative said is that they now have a different alarm system as well. I guess there is an international regulation for what beeps are supposed to occur with ventilator type devices. I had never heard of such a thing, but there's pretty well a regulation for anything anymore. So the regulation of beeps on a device that breathes for people, it doesn't surprise me. Just not one I was familiar with. So we went over what those changes are. Instead of one long continuous beep for low battery, it's now going to be a series of different sounds and how often they go and warnings and that kind of thing, which I'll need to get used to, and I will. I mean, I've been on this system now for about 12 years, and I've gotten used to all those beeps and the way it works. Now I can get used to more bleeping. But they also has a different screen on it that my old box, it would have a display of 5, I believe, A's when everything was working. Now the new ones just gives stars, which is fine. I guess they took out the grading system. That they figured they've been to school this long that they've passed, I guess. So they no longer need to be given grades or something like that. But something else that I liked is that for the whole time I've been using the pacemaker now, it relies on a type of lithium battery. And unfortunately, as pretty well everyone knows right now, I think, that supplies can be hard to get a hold of sometimes. And these batteries are made in a country that isn't always stable politically, shall we say, and getting them can be a concern sometimes. So the new boxes can now also run on a regular C battery. They'll only run, I guess, for 4 days instead of 3 weeks on one battery. But hey, if you can't get a hold of any battery and that it wouldn't work, well, at least we can get a hold of something, right? So that has been my experience now the last couple of weeks, or excuse me, the last few days. And it's maybe not real exciting, but for me, I like seeing new technology and how things develop and change over the years. Again, when I was injured, none of this really was an option or even really talked about. So it's kind of fun to be using this and getting to somewhat be a guinea pig, I guess. And the last thing that we talked about was looking at changing how I breathe a little bit. That I could take a deeper breath and then maybe not have to stop and pause as often like when I'm speaking. But since I'm used to the frequency I'm on now, I decided to at least keep it as is and not change anything. But we'll see. Future point, I may adjust and maybe I can speak a little bit longer. However, I'll still always need to take pauses in order to breathe. But that is it for this entry. And I believe this is going to be it before Thanksgiving here in the U.S. in a couple days. So I wish everyone that is watching a happy holiday. And remember that we can always give thanks no matter what situation we are in. That it may take a little bit more searching to find God's blessings in our lives. But as long as we have breath, no matter what form it comes from, it is something we can be thankful for. So, thank you for watching, and see you next time on The Quad Life. Bye for now.